Yeah, I like my country. I mean, I like what my country stood for, where it came from, mm, the version that was built. Not the very very first version, um, fine tuned and so the end result was something that I like more than I would say any other country. So yeah.
Okay, so you think so. What do you mean when you say you're a nationalist? Do you think like the interests of America should be furthered over the interests of the world?
No, no, I don't think so.
Okay,
I
so
just think that like the way the country was built and how it was built and it was kind of like it didn't just happen overnight. It took a lot of, agreeing and disagreeing and agreeing to disagree. y- People living in communities and things like that coming together. I don't think it was always just politicians that kind of ran the whole show. I think it was more like the people. It,
do you think when most
there were,
people say nationalist, this is what they mean?
well, I don't think it means white supremacist, if that's what you mean.
Well, no. Usually they mean that we should like further the interests of like the United States at like the bare minimum, where they think what matters is like furthering the interests of the nation, right? That's usually what they mean when they say like I'm a nationalist.
Hmm. Well, maybe it's a different version then.
So what? When you say nationalist, you just mean you like America. That's it.
Well, I'm a Canadian, so I would love my country.
Oh, okay. Okay, so you
So it would
so
be
what? You
Canada,
just
and I
like
love Canada,
Canada?
and
That's it?
I love Canada, and I mean,
Because I mean, like, I'm
I
pretty sure
love what.
plenty of people would say like I like my country, but they wouldn't necessarily call themselves like a nationalist.
Hmm. Well,
Hmm.
I mean, I
But
look at
wait
it
a
like,
isn't liking your country nationalism?
I mean, if it
You
is,
care
then that
about the
just
people in your country.
well, yeah. But if you care about them to like the debt, like to the law, like to the exclusion of like other countries, like you don't care about it, you care about other countries less than you care about people in your country or something like that.
I don't think the exclusion or or rather exclusion is necessary
Well,
for
it
you
doesn't
to love
necessarily need
your
to be exclusion, but weighting. You're weighting like the value of the people in your country over the other people in the other country.
well, I wouldn't want people say, I would want somebody from
I agree with
Barbados to come to Canada and say Barbados,
Yeah, but
like
that
I'd
doesn't
be like,
mean
what the
that
hell,
doesn't. Yeah, but that doesn't mean like that you're weighting Canadians
Brazil.
over Barbadians though. Like you would. So, do you think do you support immigration? I guess.
Do I what on
immigration.
Do you support
immigration?
immigration?
Yeah, Canada dropped its well, the current government is liberal, so they allow borders. I don't think anymore right now on Canada. I mean, it's just from the states to Canada, so they're basically taking anybody that doesn't want to be American
That's awful.
Yeah,
from
that doesn't
them.
really answer my question. Do you support immigration?
I support, yeah,
Yeah.
legal immigration. Yes,
What you don't support?
absolutely.
Why are you against illegal immigration?
Well, because well, first of all, those people aren't vetted properly,
Oh, okay. So just because they aren't vetted, so like if we vet people, anybody
and
could come in,
the
should be able to come into the country, right?
yeah, if they went well, if they came in legally, then yes, of
Oh, okay.
course.
So anybody that comes in legally is okay. So we should like we should have no quotas on immigration at all, and just let anybody come in if they want to.
No, I think that if they go through the proper channels and they
Yeah.
want to be
So
a
no
Canadian
quotas.
citizen,
Yeah, exactly. If they go to the proper, well, you don't need to be a citizen just because you want to come to a country, though. Like you might only want to be in a country for like a few years.
well, then that's a economic migrant. That's a
So
bit different. That's a person just coming to work,
yeah, are you
like a
against
foreign
that?
national or something like that, and then they could just work, do their thing, and then go back. Or refugees, they're supposed to just come, stick around for a little while, and then go back once their countries or places
Yeah, but
that
why
they.
can't they stay? Are you against refugees staying in the country?
Well, why can't they go back and rebuild?
Well, why do they have to go back and rebuild?
because then they encroach on other people's beliefs and the
What do you mean?
system. They
How are
break
they
they
encroaching?
break the system
Break what
because they're
system?
encroaching
Encroaching on what?
on other people's rights and other
How?
people's
How are they?
life
Hold a
and
second.
other people's
How are they
things.
encroaching on other people's rights just to stay, to like become a citizen? I don't understand.
Well, I mean, like, where are we talking about here? Are we
Like what?
talking about Americans
We
coming
let
up? Are
we
we
let
talking about like
15,000 we
people
let
who just don't want to be an
15,000
American
no no
citizen
no
anymore
we
because
let
they can't live in
15,000
America?
we let 15,000 random Syrian refugees into the country, and then the war is over. We're like, oh, we could send, you can go back if you want to, but if you don't want to go back, you can, here's your fast track to citizenship. What's the problem with that?
Well, I don't think that's right.
Why
I
not?
don't think that people should just be allowed to do that.
Why not?
The people that have been in line, and we already had a system that
Oh, we
wasn't
could just let
broken.
those people in as well. What's the problem?
Well, you just don't let people into your country. You've seen what happened in other countries.
What do you mean?
So
Yeah,
we
like
just use other
Sweden.
countries as an example
Yeah, what do you mean?
and watch how they do it. Like, look at Sweden. Now, Sweden is no longer just a Swedish country.
What do you mean it's
It
not a
is now a
Swedish
country
country?
to 160 different languages, 160 different
So,
cultures,
what's wrong with that?
160 different
Are you
people.
against multiculturalism?
Yeah, of course I am.
Why are you against
I think that
multiculturalism?
multiculturalism is like taking it's like taking something and mixing it all up into like a big jumbo soup
What's
and
wrong with that?
well,
Yeah, you wouldn't mix your like
you don't
chicken
like your
soup with like
identity.
watermelon
Whether I
soup,
like
You
my
right?
don't like
identity,
being a part.
whether I like my
I
identity or
mean,
not doesn't answer the question of why it's wrong to mix cultures.
it is wrong to mix
Why?
cultures because then there wouldn't be no specific culture
Yeah,
anymore. It'd be
what's wrong
too
with that?
much mixing.
What's wrong with that?
Uh,
Are you
in the
being
Bible,
serious
it
right now?
said that there was a Tower of Babel, and how all these cultures were one culture, one
As a
language,
Christian,
one
when people bring
religion.
up Tower of Babel as an argument against multiculturalism, I want to kill myself. What do you think the problem with the Tower of Babel was?
Problem was is that they wanted to get to know who God was. They wanted to meet
No,
God firsthand.
nope.
Yep.
No, the problem is they wanted to beat God or go above God or enter heaven without like God's permission. They wanted to just go without any actual process to see God. It has nothing to do with whether the cultures were mixed together. They were divided as punishment, not because the mixing itself was bad.
Well, why? Okay, so the punishment fits the crime. No,
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that multiculturalism is bad.
race, one culture,
That doesn't
one
mean that
people
multiculturalism is bad.
are
Like
because
you
one
can't,
of
No,
them
he's
can
just
like
be
you
saying
can't,
he's just saying
like
it's
you can't,
preferable,
you
right?
can't get from Tower. Yeah, but no, he's not saying it's just preferable. He literally just said it was bad, and you can't get from that from the Tower of Babel story because it's not what the Tower of Babel story is about. The Tower of Babel story is about challenging God. It's not about like mixing cultures,
What was the punishment?
like the division of language.
Right.
That doesn't
And
actually
so
mean that
you're
it's
saying
wrong to
now
mix
that it'd be
cultures.
okay if we were all just one.
Yeah,
No, it
because we
wouldn't
aren't
be.
challenging God by all being one.
Yes, we are. It's the
How?
same
How
thing.
is it challenging
In a
God for all?
roundabout way, it is the
No, it
same
isn't,
thing.
because we're not trying to. Okay, the whole point
So
of the
was the
story.
whole point of him breaking us into different cultures, and then now we're all become one culture again?
Okay,
Is
the
that you don't
whole
see a
point.
problem with that?
Okay, the whole point is
Good point.
have you been to like Bible school or something? Because this is like something they teach like literally 5-year-old. The whole point is like challenging God. If you're not like specifically challenging God, then there's something wrong. The whole moral of the story of Tower of Babel is don't challenge God. If you hear the story of Babel story and you come out with don't mix cultures, like what the fuck is wrong with you?
You don't see that that's what happened though? The
Because that's
punishment
not what
which
the
fits the
issue was.
crime?
The issue was challenging
They
God.
were trying to they were trying to challenge God. They were trying to what was his name? Nod? King Nod or whatever the fuck his name was. He was trying to firsthand, at least in my version. So that was what I was, you know.
Okay, the point is challenging God. It's not mixing cultures.
Yes, but were they all different cultures at that point?
I mean, arguably
No,
yes.
right?
Well, no,
True,
arguably
right? They were all just one race,
no,
one
they weren't.
people.
They were like,
One tribe.
okay, so let me first ask you this question. Do you think the Tower of Babel story is literal?
Let me get the Tower of Babel
Do you
story
think the
up
Tower
here
of Babel
on
story is
Google. Let's
literal?
see if Google will
Do
even
you
put it
think
up
the
here.
Tower of Babel story is literal?
No, of course it's not literal. It's like a teaching.
Okay, so then what?
It says
They
it right
weren't
there. Like
anything.
it says it's a teaching, you know.
Well, no, that just because it's a teaching doesn't mean that it's not lit. Oh my God. How about this? Let's say that the Tower of Babel story indicates that mixing is wrong. Okay, does that actually mean that it's wrong? But
I don't know.
Hey, what do you mean you don't know?
Kira,
Why
this
did you
is
bring it up then?
this is it. This guy's boring as hell.
Ask him about gender or something.
You could at least be combative. Yeah, but he's not even combative.
Well, what would you want to combative about?
Like the claims you make. You said it was wrong. So even if, let's say, the Tower of Babel story says that mixing is wrong, does that mean that mixing is wrong?
Well, you're saying that everybody should be the same.
When did I
And
say
that's
that?
wrong. Like honestly,
Yeah.
that's wrong.
At no point in this conversation did I say that.
Yeah, but that's what your policy
You
is.
even
right?
you
What
implied
policy?
it. You've
The
implied
one
it,
of
and
multiculturalism.
I didn't advocate for multiculturalism. I asked you what was
totally
wrong with.
advocated for
No,
it.
I asked you what was
And-
wrong with
and
it. I didn't
because of
say I
that,
supported it. No, I didn't say. I didn't say multiculturalism was
Use
good.
the
I asked you
Tower
what was
of
wrong with
Babel
it.
story and reference to them being all one.
Wait,
They were all
you
like
did.
the fucking same.
You did. You're the one that brought up the Tower of Babel. I didn't.
And I was trying to
Yeah, but
let
I'm
you know
asking
that
you.
they were all the same people.
Yeah, but I'm
because
asking
it's
you.
like multiculturalism
Yes,
to me.
and are you
that's
saying
the
that means
same
that it's
thing.
wrong? Are you saying that means that it's wrong?
And then I said I was wrong. Yes.
Yeah. So you think it's wrong
And I
because of
stand
the
by
Tower
that.
of Babel story?
No, I just think that that's a reference that I made.
Okay.
I
A
think
reference
it's
to
wrong,
what? Like, what do you mean you're referencing it? Like, I could reference a story. Okay. Fine. In
Okay, sorry,
my neighborhood, there's a bunch of people and they mix cultures. Okay. And so what? What does that mean?
So
What are
I
you
think
referencing?
that so if everybody was just this big multicultural city of I don't know, people all together, and so what would be the end goal then? Like, so
End
what do
goal
you
of
guys
what?
do then? Once you're
End
all
goal
like
of
one
what?
multicultural,
End goal of
like,
what?
okay, so
End goal of
say for
what?
instance, if it's
Hey,
say
please
for
don't
instance
interrupt.
if you had a whole bunch of people and they all were all multicultural and there was like your whole country or all of America was just like this one big multicultural place, no religion, because everybody would be melted in together.
Yeah. What's wrong with that?
So then what?
Yeah.
Okay, so
What's
what's
wrong
wrong
with that?
with it? Okay, so what's right with it? You tell me,
Nothing.
what do you think is right about it?
Nothing. I think
Nothing
it's
is right
morally
about it?
neutral. It's morally neutral.
I don't understand. Well, so what's right about it? Like,
It's
what's a
morally
good thing?
neutral.
What's good?
It's morally neutral.
So everybody's just like
So what's wrong with that?
they're in. It's just one big happy
What's wrong with
utopian
that?
society.
What's wrong with it? So the reason we got here is because you said there was something wrong with multiculturalism. There was something wrong with bringing people from different cultures and bringing them together, mixing them together. And I'm asking you, what's wrong with that?
And I told you, I gave you some examples.
You just brought up the Tower of Babel
the
story.
Tower of Babel,
Yeah,
right?
but you said yourself that the Tower of
Because
Babel
even
doesn't
God
actually mean that
himself
it's wrong.
didn't want that.
Okay,
He
so
didn't want
you think
for
it's
people
wrong.
to
So you
be-
think it's wrong because God thinks that it's wrong to mix cultures. Is
Yeah.
that the case? So
Yeah,
do you
I think
think
so,
God
yes.
determines right or wrong?
Yeah, he leans in on it. Yes.
Okay, so do you think God is all powerful?
Ultimately, I'm in
Do you think
charge
God
of
is all powerful?
what is right and wrong.
Do you think God is all powerful?
No.
Okay, so you're not talking about the Christian God, right? You're talking about a different God.
No.
Well, you would be because the traditional Christian conception of God is that God is all powerful.
No, because I also share another bloodline.
Can we do this another time when you're not falling asleep? Because when you talk like this, it's like very anxious. No, just like annoying.
I'm sorry. I'm taking my time to think about what I'm saying
Yeah,
before I
but
say it.
what you're saying is like nonsensical, so I'd rather it be like just said instead of like I don't understand why I'm waiting 5 minutes for you to say I think about like a different property. Like I don't like say what you're gonna say. Like you're not saying anything like novel, so I don't understand why it's taking so long. Are you like Patrick? Like you're just like, let me find that video.
I'm just pretty tired, man. I've been up since like 4:30 this morning, so
Oh, I see.
that's
Hard at
all.
work. Proletariat hard at
But
work.
oh, I don't know. I mean, I'm against multiculturalism, but I mean,
Why?
you're for it.
When did I
Well,
say
I
I
don't
was
know.
for it?
I'm against it.
Why are
I
you
think
against it?
that I think that when people are when there's just like this whole thing of multiculturalism, there's no identity, and the people don't have any
Well, oh
identity.
wait, they have no
There's a lot of
identity? So what you're
a lot
telling
of
me is, so what
non-understanding.
you're
So
telling me is
actually,
we
what
can
it's
violate
doing
the
is
laws
it's
of, hold on,
actually
hold on a
creating
second.
racism.
Whoa, whoa, whoa,
No,
whoa.
no, hold on. I wasn't finished
Okay,
what I
go
was
ahead.
saying though. There's a lot of this stuff about how racism is how it starts. It's formed. It's formed because of that. It's formed because of multiculturalism, really. And there you go. You go ahead and say whatever you want now.
Okay.
It's just
So, I don't know how it can be the case that people don't have identities if multiculturalism exists, right? Because, I believe I believe physical reality has to be logically possible, and violating the law of identity by not having an identity, violates the laws of logic. So it's not possible. So clearly they have an identity. I identify as like myself. I might identify with my country or my nation or like some things that I like. So I don't see where the argument comes in that multicultural means people lack an identity. And I don't know how you would prove that like racism is caused by multiculturalism.
it's when you put everybody together in the same area.
Yeah, what's wrong with that?
Oh well, then you cause racial tension.
Oh, well, could you prove that, like, for example, oh, okay, so do you
Well,
think
I have
there's
to
going to be,
prove it.
so hold on a second.
It just
No, 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 no,
happens.
no, no. So, Patrick, do you think there's tension even when we don't put races together?
Not really. It's prosperity mostly.
Okay, so you think when we don't put different, so you think when there are no races, there is no tension. There's zero tension when we don't have, like, different races together.
Yeah.
Could you prove
Sometimes,
that?
yeah.
Could you prove that?
Yeah, when the first settlers came, they were all like the same
No,
race.
you claim something like, you're claiming
I
that in
proved it.
all cases, right, that if there's no other
Not in all
races,
cases.
okay, so is in most cases?
I said in some cases.
Okay, so in some cases, so then why are we
Some
arguing on some cases? Like in some cases, like and some like
I
weird
don't know
freak.
because like you want me to be 100% factual on 100%
Yeah, but
on
like,
100%.
so hold on a second. You're
And you
claiming
want to
that in a
argue
second.
that.
You're claiming that like multiculturalism is bad because it causes tension. When you don't even think lack of multiculturalism necessarily means there's no tension. Could you give me an example of a society that you have data for that has zero tension, that is single race?
There's a single race that has zero tension.
Yeah.
China.
Well, China has tension. They have like fucking people in gulags. What are you talking about?
Yeah, but we don't know that.
But we do know that. Like we've seen. Okay.
You seen it?
Okay. We don't know that they have gulags, but it looks like 1.5 million people are in
I know.
training centers and they haven't left. So it seems like a reasonable inference that they have gulags.
On Saudi Arabia then. How about
Saudi
that? They
Arabia
don't take any racism.
beheads people for using drugs and kills people for like doing witchcraft. They clearly
Yeah.
have tension.
Well, they have their own race, right? They don't.
Yeah, but you
really...
just said they didn't have any tension. They do have tension. I just demonstrated
Well,
to you
yeah,
they have
because they
tension.
just cut everybody's head off, and then they'd have no tension anymore.
What?
If they
But they're
didn't
still
like
doing it.
that,
They're
then
still
they
in the
wouldn't do
process.
it.
They're still in the process of cutting off people's heads, which means they still have tension.
Well, clearly they put the laws there for a reason.
Yeah, but
People break them.
yeah, but they
and
still have
get their heads cut
tension.
off,
Yeah,
right?
so
This
they still
is
have
not,
tension.
not our fault.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's our
I'm
fault. I'm
just
saying they have
to you
tension.
that to them that's normal, not to us.
Okay, so
but to them.
do you think normalcy is the same thing as lacking tension?
They don't? I don't think they look at tension the same way we do.
Okay, so if I just say that it's not tension for races to conflict, well, then we agree that that's not tension then?
Well, yeah, because we wouldn't agree, but you would agree with yourself.
Yeah, but like,
of course.
yeah, but like, why are you just like, okay? So if you just mean like when you say tension, you just
The way
mean
I
something
see it is like
that's
if once
defined.
you put a bunch of races together in a single area, like a city, and overflow a bunch of races together,
Luca, are you gonna talk?
a lot of tension, racial tension. People are going to be racist. That's where racism stems from. And it's where it's where it is. Like
Luca, are you gonna talk?
for a long time, and all of a sudden now things aren't great, not as great as they used to be,
Oh, what I was gonna
and
say
we're
was
forced to have to do certain
they
things.
have something worse. Hold on, they have
It's not
something
like
worse.
something that we just
Plugs. They have Falun
feel
Gong.
like, oh,
Oh yeah, the suppression of people that do Falun Gong. Yeah.
What do you mean suppression? I think you mean the curing of these fucking degenerates.
anyway, guys, I'm gonna turn into a pumpkin now. It's after 12.
All right. Nice
Was
talking
good
to you,
chatting
bud.
with you.
Yeah, it was good chatting with you.
A few moments later.
You rename him fucking Pat.
Hearing things. I should call him Patrick Thinking Noises.
It's like like those thinking noises are very descriptive of like having a hard time in an argument, where like you really do just kind of want to audibly go like in the mic while